believe, then unbelief leads to rebellion against God. Unbelief, rebellion against God and His revealed truth always leads to immorality and anarchy. These steps can be traced even in our times today. Can it? When you look at government, when you look at leadership, when you see a leadership or an organization that runs away from biblical truth, then immorality starts in, and then anarchy starts in. That's one of the signs I'm going to be preaching at during this prophecy series that I'm starting next week. I mean, not next week, week after. Is when you look at our government, when our government that was founded on biblical truth decides they don't want nothing to do with that biblical truth anymore, then immorality comes in. I love to be a fly in the wall to see how much immorality goes on with our senators and congressmen. Behind closed doors. There's a lot of it. Even one of our presidents got caught at it. That blew my mind. That disgusted me when President Clinton was having oral sex in the Oval Office. You talk about immorality. And you know what? And that is going to lead to anarchy. Okay, eventually, if the house doesn't get cleaned out, and if our leaders don't live right, then eventually it's going to bring the total judgment. God's going to bring down judgment. He has to. As one old faithful preacher who's with the Lord now, Jerry Falwell, I never forget the statement he said. It was a bold statement. He said, if God doesn't do something with America now concerning immorality, He's going to have to apologize for Sodom and Gomorrah. Think about that statement. God wiped out a whole city because of immorality.
American people don't even know what immorality is.
No.
Because it's so...
Everything's relative now.
But everything is, living together, everything is okay.
Evil is good and good is evil. And it's sad. I know. Yeah. And so he uses these three examples to show you the characteristic of false teachers. All right? When you get to verse 8, likewise also the dreamers defile the flesh, reject authority, and speak evil of dignitaries. And all the way down to verse 16, you'll see failures here. Jude expounded the errors of false teachers in his day and warned his readers even more strongly in verses 8 through 16. And the style that he uses, he's going to use Old Testament types in verse 5 through 7 and 11, and also prophecies. And he's going to expose the false teachers in verses 8 through 16 again. And he's going to use these examples. And it's tough. He's not, this is not, flowery stuff. He's really going to expose these people. And I want you to notice, we're not going to go into it totally this morning, but notice the nature of the error in verse 8 and 9. Notice the nature. Jude now pinpointed three errors he had just illustrated and accused the false teachers of three. Lust, verse 7. These false teachers are lustful, verse 7. They're in rebellion, verse 5. Irreverence in verse 6. By dreaming, and in verse 8, when he says they're dreamers, probably refers to those three errors. Jude probably meant that the false teachers justified their actions by citing visions and dreams they claimed they had from God. Did you ever notice those people on TBN that claim they have visions and dreams? You ever notice 4 or 5 years down the road they get caught in immorality? All false teachers do. They live a double life. Oh, God gave me this grace. And at the same time, behind the scenes, they practice immorality. It happens. It's part of the nature. One last verse. Look at Colossians 2:18. Colossians chapter 2 and verse 18. He says, let no one cheat you of your reward, taking delight in false humility, watch this, and worship of angels, intruding into those things which he has not seen, vainly puffed up by his fleshly mind. Did you catch that? Human beings are not even to worship angels. And that's a big no-no. Angels are not to be worshipped.
It's been a big thing for a while. All these angels.
Yeah. Don't worship angels. Hebrews tells you that the angels fall down and worship who? Christ. We don't worship angels. Okay? So, and what's happening here, these guys had they just dreamed up things. It's, oh, God gave me this. And at the same time, they were liars. At the same time, they were lustful people. And at the same time, they were rebellious people. So be careful. Be careful. All right, any questions?
I just want to make a comment on a specific incident. After my kids all moved out, they left a Ouija board in the house, and I asked really early in my Christian life, what do you do with that? And he's got to burn it. And I said, summertime, I don't have any interest in burning something. But
Yeah.
just go with it.
Yeah.